Hello Limitless CEOs, how are you today? I'm just going to get myself comfortable. It's that time, it's Thursday, it's 1:30 and it's time for Freeing Your Mind. Free Your Mind, a series with me. I'm Ali Mortimer, I am a mind master, I'm a master manifester, I'm a lover of all things energetics, believer of all things energetic, and I believe it's my role within inside the Limitless CEO to help you really understand more about your aura, your energetics, to get inside your mind, to help you believe in yourself, to instill that courage in you, to foster and have that trust and that belief in yourself, in your business, in your vision, in where you're going. That is my role within inside the Limitless CEO. While M is the brilliant visionary, the creative director. She is the person who is going to bring your vision to life with a strategy and a plan. I am there to hold you to that plan, hold you to that desire, that dream, and to making it happen. When you wobble, I'm there to help you come back on to walking that path to your success, to your dream life, to creating that life, that business that you love, and actually to love yourself in the process. And that's one of the biggest things that I love to do, is help women fall back in love with themselves. Because when you fall back in love with yourself, what you stand for, where you're going, what you're doing, do you know what? That's when everything starts to feel, I don't want to say easy and effortless, because there's still going to be an element of hard work, but it's just that hard work has an element of ease and flow and just desire and beautiful flow, really. So right, that's the intro. I'm here to unlock unlimited potential within you in order to unlock and access everything that it is that you desire and you want to create in your life and in your business. So let's get down to it, shall we? Today is episode 3 in Free Your Mind, and the title is Conversations with Fear. One of my favorite things to do. So let's have a conversation with fear. And why is this important? Because what I want you to walk away with today is the knowledge that you do not need to fear your fear. I want to free your mind from fearing the fear. So here's a reframe for you. Fear is your friend. Fear is your teacher. And what I often see in a lot of women that I work with is that they do one of two things. They, number one, either let the fear of what it is that they have to do. So they'll go and have a conversation with Em, and Em will give them a strategy, and that's what they have to do. And there's a fear. There's a fear about what it is that they need to do, or a fear about their vision, or a fear about anything to do in their life. And that holds them back, and it stops them from taking the aligned action. It stops them from doing the things that they know that they need to do. This fear just stops them dead in their tracks. Excuse me, I'm still struggling with the end of a cold, but I'm feeling so much better. I've even got makeup on today, and I'm out of bed, and I'm back in my office. So that is a good sign, right? Okay. The second thing I often see people doing is that they just avoid fear. They shut it down, they ignore it. But the problem with that is that you're still holding on to this fear energy within inside you. And that is still felt. And it still has an impact on the actions that you actually take. And it's a huge part of the manifestation process. So a few things I would love for you to know. I'm just going to take a drink. Hold on one second. If you're here, do say hello. Give me a wave. If you're watching live, if you're watching on replay, give me a wave. Let me know you're here. I felt like it was a day for sparkles today, by the way. I know it's not Christmas, and this is pretty much my Christmas jumper, but I just felt like sparkles today. So there are 4 things that I wanted you to know about fear, and that are really, really important in the manifestation process. Fear, number 1, fear is just resistance. It's just a resistance. It's your mind and it's your ego almost pulling on the reins of what it is that you want to call into your reality in the manifestation process. It's the reins. It's the heaviness that comes, and it's the flip side. It's the shadow side of your dream. And you have to have a look at it. It's always going to be there. So fear is the resistance to the manifestation process. And this is where the real work gets. We need to get to the work inside the mind, listening to the ego. Number 2, fear is also a frequency. Fear has a very distinct frequency. And if you understand the laws of vibration, if you understand the laws of attraction, the laws of the energy that you put out in your frequency, in your aura, is what you're going to receive back. So if you're putting out fear energy about something, then it's likely that that is going to magnet back to you. So it's really important to recognize that fear is something that you need to address. Fear can often live in your subconscious. I always point here for my subconscious. That's where my niggles are. And so for those of you who are really avoiding fear, it's still there in your subconscious. There's no overthinking it. You can't override it because fear is something in here. The energy is in here. You might have it in your subconscious mind, but it's manifesting in an energy somewhere within you and in your aura. So it's really important, again, to recognize that the manifestation process, you manifest from your subconscious. So if you're not addressing this fear deep within your subconscious, that is what you're going to be manifesting and calling back into your reality. So once again, it's really important to recognize your fear. And the fourth thing I want you to know is that fear has this energy. It has an energy. And what I mean by that in terms of an energy, what do I mean by that? What I'm trying to say here is that if you're carrying this energy within you and you don't know what it is going to have an imperceivable, what is the word? I've lost my words. Fear has an energy and it's going to impact the way in which you do things, is what I'm trying to say. It has an energy in your being. So if there's something that you fear, it's like rather than in this pure energy, you're going to be running 100 miles an hour, yes, flaying your arms around, no resistance. It's going to impact your action because it's going to slightly hold you back. It's that energy of slightly dipping your, one foot definitely in, but there's one heel that's dragging. There's a weight that you're pulling along. So you don't have this free-flowing, free-flying energy to literally go ahead. So all of this is really important. So what I want to try and say is, and remind you, is that all of these fears are there for a very good reason for you to look at, to see and to recognize, so that you can move freely without that resistance, so that you can attract back what you want, not what you fear, through the laws of vibration, through the process of manifestation, so that you can clear from your subconscious, so you can have the beauty in your subconscious that you want to manifest back into your life, so that when you're doing and taking those actions in accordance with your strategy, in accordance with your plan and going towards your vision, it's in this pure energy with no resistance. So how do we clear the fear? We have a conversation with our fear. So no avoiding it. We turn round and we stop and we say, right, I'm acknowledging this dream, or I'm acknowledging this step that I know I need to do in order to take my business to where it needs to go. But do you know what? Let's have a conversation with fear, because there's always going to be a fear there. There's a doubt. You're going to be worried about something. So turn around and ask your mind, ask your ego, ask that part of you that's just like desperate to get out, to say, oh no, but I'm nervous about that. What if this happens? Or what if that happens? Excuse me, I'm gonna have to blow my nose. So we have this conversation with fear, excuse me. And about. We have this conversation with fear and we honor our fear. We listen to our fear. We give fear a voice so that it feels heard. It's like having a small child in your subconscious that's trying to get out, trying to say something, and you're ignoring it. And you know what you do when children are being ignored? They get louder and louder and louder and louder and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bolder until you turn and look at them. And that's what you've got to almost treat your fear like. A child. You've got to give it time. You've got to give it space. You've got to give it a voice and invite her in. Him in, whatever your character is. Mine is Dobby the house elf. Invite your fear in and have a conversation with it. Ask questions. These are some of the questions that I ask. And is this really true? Or is this just a past projection of something that's happened in the past? And remind yourself that I am a completely different person to the person that I was this time last year. And it might be the same action that I'm about to take, but I am a different person. And I learned so much from taking that action last year that I'm going to do this in a very different way, in a very, very different energy. What are you trying to protect me from, fear? What is it that you're worried about? What is it that you're worried about happening? And let's have a conversation. Is there anything that we can put in our plans, in our process, in order to mitigate that fear or that thing happening that we do fear? Are we willing to see this from a different angle? Are we willing to see this differently? One of my favorite questions is, what is fear trying to tell me? What is my fear trying to show me? Can I see this from a very, very different point of view? Can I coach myself through this? Is there something that I need to heal? Is there something that I need to do? So in asking these questions and having those conversations with fear and getting all of it out, what we can do is then we find ourselves with an action plan. And in those questionings, what we can often find is it could be that there's something that we need to address in terms of healing, a past trauma, a past situation. And we need to go back and address that and speak our truth and say it out loud and work through it so that we feel at peace with what had happened. A lot of the healing process. Another thing, again, I think I've already mentioned, another thing you can do is, okay, well, what if we are worried about it, what can we do in order to mitigate that happening or not happening? We do some truth finding, some fact finding, and we move through and we create an action. There's a couple of examples I thought I might share with you that you might find interesting. A couple that have been coming up recently with some of our clients. It's this in our mind, and our fear comes up and there's resistance of whatever it is I'm doing, it's not working. It's just not working and no one's going to buy. It's not going to work. No one's going to buy from me. I'm really, really worried about not having any money this month. I need some money. It's not happening. So invite fear in. Okay, I hear you. I see you. I hear that you're worried that we might not make any money this month, that there's going to be no income coming in. Shall we have a conversation about how we can work through this fear? Let's ask some questions. Is it really true that it's not working? How long have you been doing these things? Are you really, really taking action? Are you doing everything that you've been suggested to do as part of your strategy? How can you tell it's not working? Are you only seeing that somebody buying from you is the fact and the evidence that it's working? What about everything else? What about everything else that's working? Is the fact that you're talking more, you're getting more confident on screen, you're getting more confidence in your message, you're getting more clarity, you're feeling good, people are seeing you, you're getting out there. How do you know it's not working? Think about the heart when you plant seeds in your garden. I know we're coming up to springtime soon and we start planting seeds. When we plant the seeds, we have absolutely no idea whether those seeds are going to grow or not, or whether they're going to take. But we trust and we believe, and we continue to water, we continue to nourish, we continue to feed, we continue to put out in the sunlight our lovely seeds and trust and know that they are going to be growing down before they break through. And the same is exactly the same when we think that whatever it is that we're doing isn't working. We continue to do it until, in that faith and that belief. But it's always through that we honor that fear, we honor that doubt, we bring it to the table and remind ourselves that that is exactly what is happening. We have to have patience and trust is what I've noted here. Another fear is that I'm not good enough. A fear that people are going to judge me and they're going to say I'm not good enough. So again, let's invite fear in. What are some of the questions? Let's get deep down and dirty with why you think you're not good enough and why you think people are going to judge you. Why do you think you're not good enough? Who are you comparing yourself to? Are you comparing yourself to like the best person in your industry? Or are you comparing yourself with someone? Well, just don't compare yourself. Really pull yourself in and remind yourself why you're doing, what you do, how you help people, how you're in service with people. Remind yourself how good you actually are. Whether you've had clients or whether you've been your only client, remind yourself what you've taken yourself through, and that's why you're eligible to coach and help and serve other people. Remind yourself of your success stories. You are good enough for the people who are ready to learn from you. Build that belief. That's your work there. Ask those questions. Change your thought patterns. And when the judgment one, who are you thinking of when you're thinking of who's judging you? Is it your father-in-law? Is it your husband? Is it your child? Who are you thinking about when they judge you? Or is it just you in your mind? Because often the fear of the judgment is actually the judgment we have about ourselves. So once again, fear is teaching us something where we need to go and do some work, where we need to heal, where we need to do the belief work, where we need to do the reframing. So really, what I'm saying here is just really underlying the fact that fear is your friend. Fear is your teacher. Fear is highlighting where you need to go and do work. Where do you need to go and clean up your resistance? Where do you need to go and do some healing? What actions do you need to take in order for you to move forward? So I always talk about fear being my 4 friends, and there's typically four friends that crop up quite a lot of time. The first one is the fear of judgment. Well, the fear of judgment is the teacher that teaches me strength, that teaches me resilience, that teaches me where I need to grow. Because as I said, often those judgments are the thoughts I have about myself that I need to clear, that I need to work on, So those judgments, to know that I'm going to be strong enough. Do you know what? Because if you want to make big impact in whatever it is that you're doing, there are going to be people out there who are going to be watching you and judging you. And we talk about conflict next week, actually. The second teacher is the fear of abandonment. And what I believe that this teacher is all about is teaching you the wisdom to know that the art of belonging to yourself. You know, if you're abandoned, if you are left all alone, you're going to be okay because you still have you, right? The amazing book by Brené Brown, Braving the Wilderness, that's her bag. You are okay on your own. You have yourself. It's all about loving yourself, trusting yourself, knowing yourself, and knowing that you will never, ever, ever be alone. So even if you are abandoned by everybody, you're still going to be okay. And that happened to me in my reality in 2016. I felt abandoned by absolutely everybody except my 2 small boys at the time. And it was about bringing myself back to me. If I could love myself, know myself, trust myself, like to hang out with myself, then I was always going to be okay. And in knowing who I was, I then started to attract all of the right people to me, the right people who I wanted to hang out with, the clients I wanted to work with. So the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection is one of the most amazing teachers that have had such a profound impact on my life and my business. Teacher 3, fear of failure. I love the fear of failure. If you're not failing, you're not learning. If you're not failing, you're not growing. If you're not making mistakes, you're never finding the wisdom to how to improve. So you must have read the book by John C. Maxwell, Fail Forward. The faster you fail forward, the more you're going to learn. So keep failing faster, and the more you're going to grow, the more you're going to expand yourself, your knowledge, your experience, the more you can teach from a place of experience. So keep failing. Don't fear failure. Failure is one of your biggest allies when it comes to failure. Fear is your biggest friend in this. And the last one, the fear of disappointment. The fear of disappointment is showing you the wisdom that you can do hard things, that you can feel sadness, that you can feel disappointment. You can feel all of these things, and it builds resilience. And it builds emotional resilience and emotional intelligence to know that you can handle all of it and you're going to be okay. And it teaches you courage, and it teaches you strength, and it teaches that you can do all of this. So don't fear disappointment, because we're always going to be disappointed in life, because we always set such high expectations of ourselves. We set high expectations that we're going to have the biggest launch ever, and then we're disappointed. And you don't have to get back up and do it again. You could just quit. But you know what? In that disappointment, you take a breath, you take a pause, and you look and you reflect and you find the wisdom and you go again. You build the courage to go again. What do they say? You know, courage is just getting up one more time. Call me then. Sorry, I thought I was on do not disturb. Anyway, so I believe those 4 fears are our teachers, and some of the most powerful teachers. So that's really all I wanted to share with you today. Fear is not something to be afraid of. Fear is not something to avoid. Fear is one of the things that you want to use as one of the biggest tools in your business toolbox, in your energetic toolbox, to help you move forward, to help you keep growing. So have these conversations with your fears, because they are trying to teach you something. They're trying to share with you something. They're giving you wisdom. So really, really, really embrace all of your fear. Do not fear fear. So this work in this space all around fear has had such an incredible impact in my life, in my business. And it's the work I do with all of our clients inside of our energetics work. It's moving through that resistance. It's moving through that fear. It's allowing yourself to have those conversations with fear. And in working with me in private mentorship or in group mentorship, this is how we witness your fear in a really safe and sacred space, and honor it and listen to it and move through it and learn from it and grow from it. I love having conversations with fear. I love having conversations full stop. And that is the way that I love to mentor and coach. Coaching and through conversations, through experience, through understanding, through honoring, through safe spaces. So I wanted to offer up a couple of things just before I leave today, before I wrap up today. If this is something that you recognize in yourself and in your business, and then one of the things that's really holding you back, or one of the things that you're completely avoiding because you don't want to look there, but know and recognize, having heard from this, that this is the one place that you need to grow and learn in order to take your business to the next level, then I'd love to invite you to come in and work with me, because this is, I clear this, I nearly swore. Calls me the chief shit clearer, so excuse me if I'm swearing. But if you know that you need to clear this up And if you want to move fast, then I would love to come and have a conversation with you. And I can have a conversation with you and we can clear that really rapidly. I work with my private clients inside Voxer all the time, and we can start a conversation at 3 o'clock and we've cleared that up already by 3:15 and you're off and you're moving. One conversation with me and we can set you off on a whole new trajectory. So if that's something that you want to do, then please drop into my DMs and let's have a conversation about how I can help you, how we can have those longer term conversations. I've got private mentorship options and I've got group coaching mentorship options, group, small, intimate. So you get to witness and experience others going through their wobbles and their fears and take that on as your own learning and experience. I love group coaching mentorship spaces like this. It's so incredibly powerful. I've experienced it myself. And I love holding space for others and to help guide through everybody, through everything and the wobbles and the fears that are going on. I also love and honor and appreciate private mentorship when you're going through some real deep, dark work. Sometimes you don't want anybody else to witness that other than one person who's going to make you feel safe. And I would love to be that person. So if this is something that you know you want to work through, then please go and check out all of the information in our bio. I'm not entirely sure that the links are working on Instagram at the moment. So if you'd like a link, please let me know. Jump into my DMs and I can send you all the details of our private mentorship, whether you want to come in and do that as part of duo coaching with Em, come in and get the plan, the path, the vision, the real clear direction and a strategic direction. Go do that and then have me to help you with all of your wobbles that happen in life, in business and in your mind. Or whether you just want to come in and work with me privately on a one-to-one basis or in one of my group rolling containers. All of the information's in there. If you want to have a conversation, come and have a conversation. Jump into my DMs. I'll see you next week. Thursdays, 1:30, live or on the replay. Drop me some DMs below if this really helped you today. Work through your fear. Have conversations with fear, everybody. # conversations with fear. Want to see those. Loads of love.